It's a case of deja vu being in this wheel arch. What do you reckon, Alfie? Alfie. Hi everyone, hope you're all okay since we last spoke. Just a quick introduction on this one. Let's get on with the scratches on the Qashqai. Well, there's that scratch. So I'm just going to mop it first straight away because I don't think this one is. It is a bit naughty. Uh-oh. Oh, that's way deeper than what I realised. Who pence?
Yeah, sorry guys, I will do a video on the products that I use, but I use this little D-nib block a lot. It's actually meant for getting small parts, hair, you know, anything out of new paint, and as well as original paint, and I use it a lot, as you've probably seen. But I will do a proper video to explain what it is, where to get it, why I use it so much in the future. I promise I'll do one.
I've got to be careful because this paint is not very thick at all. You might witness me go through the first car. I've got to be careful on that line there because that suede line is going to be really thin. Oh, this is going to take a lot of effort. It's actually come out enough to... There's actually no paint. I'm going to have to fill that in and try and improve that. But, so you can just see the line there. It looks a lot worse on the camera, but I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to flatten it again and try and not go through this. It's going to be right on the... You can't actually feel it now, but you can see the kink in the paint, which makes it... Oh dear. I've flattened it a bit more, I've polished it a bit more. And that is sort of the best that I dare get that without going through, I think. I mean, you can see the difference between... That's a bit that I haven't done, obviously. And you can see the little bit around the side repeater, which I can't really get to because it's just destroying my mop head, but you can still just see a kink in the paint about there. But I think that's the best that I'm going to be able to get that without going through. I mean, it looks 100 times better. If I can get the rest of it looking like that, I'll be well happy. Let's see how we get on. What do you reckon of that? Because I'm actually pretty chuffed with that. I mean, you can see the difference between the one that on the back that I haven't done. Hopefully the sun will come out in a minute so you can see it at its worst, because it's still swirly there because I've put a shed load of swirls in it because I've cut it pretty deep. But I mean, I'm well happy with that. Look at it. If the rest of it comes out like that, I'll be well happy. And it did as well. Sun's out. There you go. Sun's out. That's the worst that it's ever going to look. And I haven't done it with my final polisher yet to get the swirls out. I've done it quickly with a medium cut just to make it look a bit better. But look, the whole side. There's a few swirls there in the sun. But no scratch. Good looking car. 59 plate Qashqai ain't never going to look no better than that. Nice. I haven't even washed it yet. Look at the dust I've created over it. They thought, do you know what? That handle, do you know what? If I mop that handle, that'll come up like glass, I reckon. It's not even painted, I don't think. It's just plastic, shiny plastic. But it's, do you know what? Let's get on with that bit there. Let's get on with that. See how that comes out. Well, clearly that hasn't all come out in a perfect scenario to look brand new, but so the bit where the quarter meets the bumper, unfortunately, that's gone all the way down to the primer, because you can sort of see it's just slightly off yellow colour. That's gone down to the primer. You're never going to flat that back, there's no paint left, but it hasn't gone through to the metal, so it won't go rusty, which is handy. That bit, and that bit, there isn't any paint left there. These still look a little bit worse than what they actually are because they're full of polish, as you can see. But so I'm going to touch all them up, then polish it again. But I'm just a little bit too scared to go any further than that, because the problem is when you're flattening and polishing plastic compared to metal, metal warms up and it starts to give you a bit of a hint that it's getting low. If you start going through on metal, then the lacquer starts going real clear and you can sort of stop before it's too late. Plastic doesn't really do that. Plastic gets really hot and melts, and then you have to get it repainted. And I'm just a little bit scared to do that. So I'm going to touch it up, mop it once more and see what it looks like. And there we go. That's touched up. I will still mop it twice, but not with a heavy cut. So as far as the scratches go, you can still see. Now look at the reflection. You can still see them because they're real deep. That one, that one, and that one. The sun's out now, so it's never going to look worse than that because you'll see everything in the sun. You can see that one, but I mean, it's for a 59 plate car, because a smart repair on that bumper, which is arguably going to be cheap and in 6 months it's going to go all dull and start peeling off, you'd way prefer that. If you get it done properly in a proper body shop with a proper oven, then it will be good, but it's going to cost you 250 quid to get it done nicely. I've got to leave it like that. We'll take the tape off, we'll mop it a couple more times, we'll have a look on the finished car. It's all right though. So as far as the scratches go, they are pretty much out, apart from there's a couple of little marks that you can you see that there? There's a bit there which I've had to fill in with paint because it was just too deep, and I'll flat that out tomorrow when that paint's gone off. But it's dust all over it. But other than that, I've got to quickly do that handle. I've just clayed the bonnet actually, because the fallout on the bonnet is so bad, but the scratches look mega. They're done. The bonnet is awful. I don't know if you can. It's got little bits of fallout all in the bonnet. I've clayed it, I've mopped it. I said, you know what, I've almost had enough. I feel like I need to go and do something else just for a bit because I've had enough of mopping this car today. But I just do. Let's see if we can quickly do that handle just before I put my mop away. Oh, 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 my mop. Oh, no. Look there. Oh, even my mop's had enough. Popping and banging. I need new brushes. That looks better though. At least it's shiny now. Right, I've got to go and wash the A6 event, get that ready to hand over. I'll have to get back onto this big beast a bit later when we come back. It's going well though. So we're back on the Qashqai, people. Had to come off the Qashqai for a few days, which has actually turned into more like a week. Do you know what? I don't know. I can't remember. Had to get onto some other cars, obviously get some other cars up for sale. Blah, blah, blah. So I think the last stage we got on was taking all the scratches out. Now it's been sitting around and it's got even worse. So I've sort of lost a little bit of enthusiasm for the Qashqai, but now I've got to get back on it because it's actually, it's a really nice car. Dirty, it's a bit grubby under there. So I've got to get it all washed and got to get onto that noise as well because it still does that. Well, on and off. Let's have a look. There it goes. I thought I'd fixed herself then. That would have been nice. Oh, I don't know what that is. We'll have to jack that up. I don't know what that is. Let's give it a bath first. So the Qashqai's all washed, and so it's a good time to. You can tell this is going to be a good-looking car because when a car's wet, it's a fairly good idea of what it's going to look like when it's clean if it's been prepped properly. Because all of the plastics are all nice and grey because they're wet. The tyres are all shiny because they're wet. The bodywork's shiny because it's wet. But that's what it will look like when I've finished with it. It's a nice car. It's just not yet. Got pulled off the Qashqai. Just had to fix a friend's car actually this morning. So now back onto the Qashqai. Nice day today though. Just washed it, didn't we, yesterday? Now it's all dry. But look at the disc. It looks amazing this side. Obviously, you guys know that I've hit this pretty hard with the old compound to get them scratches out. Looks amazing that side. Look at that. Come around this side in the sun. It's perfect example of how horrific something looks in the sun, especially a black car. Look at the look at the swirls I've put into it. I'm going to have to take them out quickly, mop it again with a bit more of a medium cut and get them swirls out. Well, that's that side done in the shade. Look at the side of that, look. The reflection in the wall. That's a straight car. It's like glass now, look. Look at it. I've only done a little bit of the bonnet. I've got to do that side of the bonnet. Look at the smears. The problem is, oh dear, that is too hot. Pants. I'm going to have to put it in the garage. Ah, there you go, that's better. Get out of the sun now. So I'll quickly do this side, speed that up, and then we'll get it back out in the sun, see what it looks like. Let's just catch that before we lose the sun, losing the sun behind the fence. So I've done, yeah, you can see the difference there that I've done the front wing and the front door. I mean, you can see all the smears in that still. The difference, look. Let's do the back. Oh, I've got to do that bit of the bonnet as well. We're there though. That's that stage done. Look at the difference it makes when you condition them plastics. I mean, I don't think they've ever been done before. Them ones are all done. Haven't done that one. Better finish doing that. So here I am, I just quickly condition all the plastics. I go around the whole car, then I fit new Vision Prestige number plates to the front and back because it makes me feel all special and like I've arrived in life because it's got my company name on the bottom of them. So we've got to a point where the Qashqai now looks lovely on the outside. Still haven't done the windows, still haven't done the inside, which isn't that bad, but I really need to get onto this noise. Ah! There it goes. So what I want to do, I want to jack this wheel, I want to jack this side up, take a wheel off, just take that inner arch out and get to the tensioner and the poly belt behind there, just so we can see if we can get a bit closer. There you go. So it's not the alternator. The noise is down further than that. I think it's that tensioner there. I think that's what it is. And I hope that I can get to it better through the wheel arch. So, tell you what, I'll quickly jack this up. See if we can get in there. So if any of you guys out there are thinking that looks horrifically unsafe with a little Halford's jack and 2 blocks of wood because the jack is too small to get all of the height because it's an SUV, if you're thinking that's horrific, you're completely right. It is. It's horrendous. I haven't got a bigger jack, and this is what I've used the whole time that I've been doing this. But I end up using the blocks of wood just to get it up to height, and then once it's up to height, put my axle stand underneath. But it's pretty horrific, I agree with you, apologies. So let's have a quick look under here. Well, that's interesting straight away, because there's 2 trim clips missing and a faithful cable tie, which means someone's been in here before. So there it is with the cover off, or that cover off. Might have to take the whole inner arch out to get to it properly, but what I want to do is, all I'm going to do See, I'm hoping that it's that tensioner there. Hope it's that, because if I take this belt off and it still squeals, let's not get to that now. Let's take the belt off, start it up, see if it still squeals. Let's slip it off the bottom pulley instead. There you go. See how far it comes back. Don't go too far. Oh yay. Well, that might be the easiest belt I've ever removed in my life. So Nissan belt. That's a Gates belt. That's had a belt before. Then again, it's 14 years old. It's not surprising. So the belt's off. It's on the floor with my little pad. It's like my diagram. So I know where the belt goes. Didn't really need to do that. It's probably one of the simplest belts I've seen in my life. So let's fire it up. So you can fire it up if you have a battery light on, because the alternator's not charging. But so we know something on that belt. That's good. That means there's nothing inside, timing chain wise, or I didn't think it would be. It wasn't that sort of noise. Now we've got to work out what it is. So this is a point where you come to these auxiliaries here, spin one of them, and one of them sounds horrendous. The problem with this is it only squeals when you rev it quite hard, and then when it dies down it still squeals, but you have to rev it hard to get it to do it. I'm never going to be able to spin these pulleys at that speed. It's got a tiny bit of play in it. I wonder if I put my little microphone up there. See, it makes a little noise when you spin that. It's like a little ticking noise. That might be enough to make a squeal when it's going really, really fast. I've actually put the belt back on so I can see if I can put my bar or a screwdriver on that tensioner when it's making the squeal, just to sort of confirm that it might or might not be that. All I've done is taken the belt off and put it back on. Now it doesn't do it at all. Now what do I do? Okay, put my little microphone back in. Now I'm really confused because I can't make it make the noise, and everything sounds like a Swiss watch. Sounds perfect now. So I just had an idea. I'll take my little microphone off, right? See what it sounds like. So do you know what? I'm going to go for a bit of an operation of elimination here, because the way I see it, when it was making the noise, listen to it squealing, put it on the alternator, and it wasn't coming from there. You'd have heard it down the screwdriver. I used to have one of them stethoscope type things, but I lent it to someone and I never got it back. So it's not the alternator. It's further down than that. Down the bottom, so you got the crank pulley. It's not going to be the crank pulley. The crank pulley hasn't got a bearing on it that would make that sort of rotational noise, especially that high-pitched squeal. Got the aircon compressor, which is down the bottom there. Now, on this car, Nissan Qashqai, the aircon compressor has got an external clutch on it. When you engage the aircon, that clutch engages, turns the compressor around. When that's making that squeal, if you turn on the aircon and engage the clutch, it makes no difference to the noise at all. If it was that compressor, it might not stop, but it would definitely change when you engage that clutch. It doesn't. So that only leaves the water pump. I don't think it's the water pump. The water pump sounds perfect when I spin it. The tensioner doesn't sound perfect. It's a lot easier to change that tensioner than it is the water pump. And I think it's the tensioner. I'm going for the tensioner. Well, that's the next day. Got a tensioner just turned up. Let's have a look at it. Oh, it's shiny. Made in Canada. Oh, nice. Oh no, don't say. Oh man, how am I supposed to get to the bolt to get it off? There's a cutout there. I wonder if that cutout is conveniently placed. I still have to jack up the engine a little bit. I have to jack it up rather than drop it. I wonder if that cutout's in the side of the body to get to that bolt. Ooh. Ow! Hit me knee. I'm going to take that inner arch off. There's no 10 mil in there anywhere. I lost a 10 mil taking the engine cover off in down here somewhere. Why are you coming out? Oh, that's why. Blimey. Talk about a build up of, that's a build up of mud. Look at it. How does that not rot away? I mean, that is a bad design, that is, isn't it? Look at that. Not rotten at all. Perfect. That's weird. I'd have thought that would have been rotten. I lost my 10 mil socket down here somewhere when I was taking the engine shield off. When I was cleaning it. There it is. You see that? See it down there? Do you know what? I hate losing tools. Yay! That's a must-have, that is, for any toolbox. A telescopic magnet and a telescopic dentist mirror. Got to have them. So handy. Do you know what? This is one other reason why everything takes me so long. I cannot work in a mess. I can't. I don't want to lay in that and get all dirty. I don't want to lose bits on the floor and then completely lose them because there's dirt everywhere. I've got to raise the engine up about an inch to get to that little window in the side of just the top of that chassis leg to get to the bolt to undo that tensioner. I can't drop it because to drop it below that chassis leg, it's got to be dropped about 3 inches. And if I try dropping the engine, that's going to hit the subframe after about 1.5 inches in that gap. So I can't drop it enough. I can't go up because it's got about 6 inches worth of body above that strut top on that turret. So it's got to be that little access windows, but I've still got to raise the engine up about 1 inch. So I'll take that undershield off. Do you know what? You cannot comprehend how much I can't wait to get a ramp of my own so I don't have to get on my back anymore. Probably could do with some electronically driven ratchets as well. But it's all money, isn't it? Some should easily be strong enough just to support that little bit of weight. Gonna have to take that engine mount off as well. Blimey. That was tight. I'll tell you what, if I put my little light on down there, so when I jack this engine up, oh, there it is. Not exactly a lot of room to, holy moly. Ain't got much room. Right. Oh, it went. Oh, it's gone. Still coming out. That's coming. It's a bit tight. Hey, that's out. And this is where I realise that I've made a bit of a boob, because when I've got the old tensioner off and you get the new one and you look at it, you realise that once the tension is off, I could have just undone that 13 mil and just replaced the pulley. So it doesn't sound very. I could have just replaced the pulley, would have had a new bearing on it. I'm sure the tension is fine. But you know what? I'm here now. It's Friday night. It's about 8 o'clock Friday night. And if I just order a pulley, then I'll have to wait enough. Do you know what? I'm putting the whole thing back on. I think it was about £93 for this. That sounds lovely. I'm putting the whole thing back on. Well, here we are. That's the next day. Got a bit late last night. I had to stop. I didn't want to be making noise late. It's a bit rude for the neighbours, isn't it? New tensioner's on. Looking all shiny, as you can see. There it is. Down there, looking all shiny. Look at that. Marvellous. Alfie's out here helping me. Alfie, hey boy, it's hot today, isn't it, boy? You love the sun, don't you? He loves the sun. So let's get it all back together. You saw all the dirt that was down there. That hasn't gone rusty at all. Nothing. I can't believe that, because it was like, I mean, it makes me want to take the other side off and just take all the dirt out, because you know the other side's going to be the same. Which, oh, I've only got time, good lord. Let's put it back together. So here I am, just putting the bolts back in for the engine mount, get underneath it, put all the under tray and everything back up, put all the clips back in, do the bolts back up, put the belt back on around the new tensioner, clean out the inner arch, put the inner arch back on. So we've got that inner arch in. If you remember, this bit before had two missing clips, had a cable tie holding it on. The problem is when you take these clips out, they're so old. I mean, I had two missing already. Now I've got two broken ones, so I'm down. I mean, what am I down now? I need 5 of them. And hopefully this is where being in the workshop comes into being a little bit handy, because have I got anything? What about them? Let's see if they'll go in the hole. How many of them have I got? I've got quite a few of them. Let's try that in that one there. Oh, that fits lovely. Oh, nice. Will it go in? Nice. We got 5 of them. Well, I tell you what, they're handy. What? Oh, it's not surprising, really. A little badge on there. Not surprising, they're better than the Nissan ones. So we'll replace all them. So we got all them all replaced, looking all nice and shiny and all nice and secure. But I mean, the design, not sure about the design of this. You got all them secure, and yet still what's that about? Just, there's literally no other hole clips, nothing. It's a bit weird, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to improve that. So whilst I appreciate, I was slightly disgusted by the cable tie that used to be there, or was it down there? Well, no, there's one there. Because, I mean, look at that. That ain't going anywhere now. Kind of that flapping around in the wind. Weird. I'll turn my microphone off so the sound will be just going into the camera. Start it up. No battery light. Nice. Around as much as the old one. Maybe the spring was getting a bit poorly on the old one as well. It felt pretty good, but it jumped around a lot more than that. Whoops. Hit the inside of the bonnet. Well, I think that's fixed. Get the old jack out. Survived another job on the wooden blocks. I've got to have a look at this one too. Oh, it's the same. God, what a mess. We'll give it a quick hoover out with Claire's toothbrush. That's an old toothbrush, don't worry. We'll give it a quick hoover out so it don't go rusty for the next owner. That's better. Right, guys. So the squeak is now done. So I've got to get onto the interior. Now, as far as the interior of this goes, it really isn't very bad. It's a little bit grubby. It's a little bit dusty. There's a few hairs that are sort of embedded into the carpet and some grasses, but it's really not that bad. The seats are fine. Just needs a little vacuum. Needs a little bit of a treatment on all the dash and everything. Will make that all nice and shiny. But as far as that goes, back's the same. That will be a bit of a pain to get out that grass. However, we'll quickly hoover that out. Hoover the back carpet as well. Let's have a look under here. Look at that. Look. Spare hasn't even been used. Even the wheel brace is still in the original bag. And this, it's a nice car, this. Oh, sticker. Sorry. Our lifeboat sticker's got to go. Let me take that out. It's just not going to do it for what I want the car to look like. So I'm not going to, do you know what? I'm not going to document the different stages of the interior. I'll quickly time lapse it all. And then when it's done, we'll have a quick look. So that's it for the Qashqai. It's all done. It turned out to be a lovely car. Wow. What are you doing? I'm wrapping up the Qashqai video. Well, you can't wrap it up. It's not finished. Even Alfie knows it's not finished. If the Qashqai is finished, well, no, don't open that. Why is it in here? And why does it look like that? And why has it got Euler's dolly bath underneath full of coolant again, like the Focus? Well, because I wasn't going to tell them about that bit. But that's dishonest. Yes, Kev, but it makes me look incompetent, doesn't it? Well, I'm afraid, Kev, my old son, in this instant, you have been incompetent because you didn't fix it, did you? All right. I'll tell him. I fitted the tensioner. Then I got pulled off the Qashqai. I had to get back onto the Leon. I had to get a couple of cars up for sale because I need to get my business back up to where it was. So I drove the Qashqai out, just out the front. It sat there for a couple of days. Then when I meant to move it to just finish off the last few little bits, it squealed again. So after all of that and me thinking I'd fixed it, I didn't fix it. It wasn't the tensioner. So I got it back in the garage, took it all apart again. Then I found this. How did I not hear that the first time? Then I got underneath it and did this. Oh, it's going all over my face. I'm getting all wet, covered in antifreeze. Then I replaced that. New water pump and a new tensioner. Got a serious case of deja vu being in this wheel arch. So the Qashqai's done again. Had to drop the engine this time to get the water pump out the bottom rather than raise it to get the tensioner out the top. But it's done. And this time it is done. It's now 8:30 at night, Friday night, got a hair full of dirt, and I still love doing it. So here we go, everyone. The Qashqai is actually finished. And as far as I'm concerned, I think it looks amazing. I think it looks an absolutely beautiful car now, which I'm not going to deny I'm really pleased about, because I have put a lot of effort into this car. But it's because I sort of knew that it would end up looking like this. You know, I mean, what have we got here? We've got a 59 plate, one owner, full Nissan service history, hasn't quite done 72,000 miles yet, almost 72,000 miles, with a new water pump and a tensioner. Michelin tyres all round, which I've said, but my plan is to get the wheels swapped front to rear, because the tyres on the front, they've probably got 4.5 mil left, but the back ones are not nearly new. So if we swap them front to rear, this car, so I'm going to get a service done on it as well, if I haven't had it done already, when this film goes out. If I have, you'll see it on the ramp. But this car isn't going to need a penny spending on it, all being well, other than a breakdown, which is just not going to happen until this next service next year. You know, it's a lovely car. I mean, look how straight it is now. I'm really pleased with this one. But the reality is, if it's starting to rain, don't rain. The reality is, if someone else bought this car who was going to pay someone, couldn't do anything themselves, so was going to pay someone to do everything, the figures never would have worked, ever, because it just needed too much work. If you had to pay someone to do all of the paint correction that I've just done, as well as the mechanical work, as well, you'd never make any money. And in reality, if I worked out how much time I've spent on this, you know, it's days, it's multiple days that I've spent on this car, it makes no financial sense. But when it's just me at the moment, and I haven't got huge overheads, I've still got bigger overheads than you'd imagine. Blimey, just my auto trader bill a month is more than a normal wage these days, which is horrific, but you just have to be on there. But if I couldn't do everything myself, I couldn't have made this car work. But now I've done it. I mean, it's a lovely car. Look at it. It's as close to new as you're going to get for a 14-year-old car. Which is, Alfie, I nearly got your nose in. Which is what I try to go for every time. It's just a lovely car. It smells like new. I'm really happy with this car. That's gone really well. So all I can really say is thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed this one. This was a long journey, this one, but I'm glad that I could do it literally from driving to the auction. We bought the car together, we've got it home, we've prepped it together, we've done all the mechanical work together. It's it. This is my life, day in, day out, and I love it. And I still love it. It's weird, but I do love it. And the more I get your guys' comments and everything, it's great. It's cars. It's just cars, isn't it? Cars are mega. I've said it. I will always say it. I love cars. I'm lucky to be able to work with them every day. Yeah, they can be a proper pain sometimes, but they're mega. Don't even know what one's coming next. Might be a bit of a surprise in a couple of videos after you've just seen this one with a certain car, what I've had to do. But thanks for watching this one, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.